Monsieur, does this mean
Rayman!
he's back?
Maybe. I don't know, hopefully. Ooh, look at this. I got a little hand I can slap things with and I can point. Yeah, I found this little cat cursor online and I thought it would be cute to use in some videos, so... You know, let me know what you think of this. Anyway, today we're going to be talking about Rayman, the 30th anniversary, because I've always really liked Rayman, but Ubisoft, for some reason, doesn't. They have thrown this beloved mascot under the bus, not just once, but twice. First with the rabbits around the mid-2000s, and most recently, well, recently is a bit of an over-exaggeration, but after Rayman Legends, like, there were some mobile spin-offs, like auto runners, but besides that, this character has basically just completely vanished into the background. They did have a Mario plus Rabbids DLC for Rayman that I've actually made a video about on this channel like a while ago, but besides that, this character has been rotting in the ground, which is such a shame because every mainline title he's in is fantastic. Personally though, I've only ever really dived into 3 main Rayman games. You can kind of see 2 of them here, Rayman Origins and Rayman Legends, which both are phenomenal titles. Rayman Legends actually recently got achievement support, so I really want to replay this game. But Rayman Origins hasn't received that luxury yet. If you go to the discussion tab here, you can see a bunch of people ask for Steam achievements. So hopefully, if Ubisoft is listening, they can add it instead of having it be like exclusive to the Ubisoft launcher, which we're definitely gonna talk about more, okay? Because for some reason, the stupid launcher is attached to this game for no reason. It literally only detracts from the experience. The other Rayman game I played a lot of, which is a little bit of a strange one, is the Game Boy Advance version of Rayman 3, which that title is such an oddity because the game is called Rayman 3, but it takes the story and music from Rayman 2, but the gameplay is most similar to Rayman 1. It is such a bizarre little title, and for some reason they also bundled it together with a Winnie the Pooh game, which is even more confusing. But besides those 3 titles, I haven't really dabbled too much with Rayman. I did play a bit of Rayman 2 and Rayman 3 when I was like 5-7 years old, but I think I never made it past the 4th level or something. I'm not exactly sure. I've always really wanted to try it, but like the way you need to play it is always a little finicky. I think you can buy it on Good Old Games, or you can buy physical copies, but you know, I like my games on Steam, so I'll just wait until there's a new version of it. But when it comes to the original Rayman, I've actually never touched it. It originally released on the PlayStation 1 in 1995, and I've always known about it, but it's the same with Rayman 2, where it's just a little hard to get a hands on. Again, you can get a physical copy or buy it on Good Old Games, but from what I've heard, that version of Rayman is like a little finicky, and it's pretty hard to set up. I might be completely wrong on that, but I have always had interest in playing this title at some point. So when this game started to pop up in a state of play, I knew I had to play it. And I've actually played it on my Steam Deck because I went on vacation to Malaysia together with Cyber to celebrate Chinese New Year, and my original plan was to play Mugenics, but because that game is just such a mouse and keyboard game. Like, it is playable on the trackpad or just the controller, but it's just a little finicky. So I thought, okay, you know, instead of Mugenics, I'll play Rayman, because it just got announced and basically released the next day. And my overall thoughts on this, not even mentioning the collection, is that this is a pretty okay game. Like, it's fun, it's enjoyable, it's a precision platformer that is really unforgiving, and I can see a lot of other titles that have taken inspiration from Rayman. I don't think it's phenomenal or anything, but it's a game from 1995, and I think it still holds up surprisingly well. I just realized this part of my screen has been cut off, so let me just fix it like that. There we go. perfect, like all things should be. But yeah, the original Rayman, like, it's a fun game. There's a lot of fun, creative, wacky worlds to explore. The platforming is, again, really unforgiving, but also really satisfying and fun. There's a bunch of creative little powers you can unlock. It has a very, like, unique style to it. It's a fun game. It can be annoying at times because to even beat the game, you need to open every cage, which are basically this game's collectibles. And some of those cages are, like, really well hidden to the point that you basically have to look up where they are. But besides that, it's fun. It's okay. It's not fantastic. It's not bad. It's like a good 3 out of 5 game. But when we're talking about the collection itself, man, I'm a little mixed on this. I think in the big picture, this is like such a cool idea for a collection. Because in case you don't know, Rayman has a very weird history when it comes to ports. Like, this game has been ported over to so many different consoles over the years. But unlike a lot of other titles where if they port it, the game mostly stays the same, for Rayman's sake, for some reason, every port is slightly different. Like, slightly different. It kind of reminds me of the Plants vs. Zombies ports, where all of those were also slightly different, but Rayman did that before PvZ, so it's kind of unique in that way. The main idea of Rayman the 30th Anniversary Edition is that it compiles the main ports of Rayman in one nice little package, which is something I wish this game did. But you know, instead we get AI slop, because that's all EA is good for. This game, on the other hand, stays very, very faithful to it, and it's just 5 different versions of the original Rayman, playable in nice HD with a bunch of little funky quality of life features attached to it. The 5 main versions this edition includes are the PlayStation 1 version, Atari Jaguar, MS-DOS, Game Boy Color, and Game Boy Advance. And the fun thing about all of those versions is, again, they are all slightly different. Like, the PlayStation 1 version is the original edition, but the Atari Jaguar, for example, has like slightly altered physics, and some of the sound effects are replaced with new ones. Then you got the MS-DOS one, which was the PC port, and that version has slightly altered levels, and crawling also works a bit differently. I'm also not sure if this is a problem with this edition, but the audio from that version was also really delayed. Then you had the Game Boy Color edition, which that is actually a completely different game that has the same world building and story as the original Rayman, but when we're talking like structure, it is completely different. And then the Game Boy Advance edition is like this really crusty version of the original Rayman, which is probably the weakest one in this collection, but it's still really cool to have it as like a game preservation thing. Now, technically, there are more versions of the original Rayman. I know there is a Sega Saturn version and a DSi version, if I recall correctly, but those I keep saying versions as and editions. It's kind of confusing. But those editions are based off one of the versions in this collection. Again, there are like 20 different ports, and they only picked 5 of them. But I think the 5 they picked are probably the most definitive ones to get a hold on. And I think that as a collection idea, that is really, really goddamn cool. But that's not everything this collection has to offer, because it also has a early prototype of Rayman, because originally Rayman was supposed to launch on the Super Nintendo, but it was too graphically intense or something, I'm not completely sure, so they delayed it a bit, and then it released on the original PlayStation. There's also a little history museum which shows the entire history of the original Rayman with a bunch of fun little behind the scenes information and interviews. The MS-DOS version had like a bunch of DLC released for it, which is also all included in this collection. I didn't really touch that myself, but again, it's really cool that it's here as a game preservation thing. There's a bunch of cheat codes you can mess with. There is a very handy rewind feature that a lot of these collections has, and I personally abuse the living hell out of it, because like a lot of these older games are really finicky to the point that it becomes frustrating. So having the chance to rewind for a bit to redo a jump or an obstacle is really nice. I know it technically kind of breaks like the flow of the entire experience, but like recently I played this collection, Bubsy in the Perfect Collection, and all of these games suck so much ass, but the rewind feature at least makes the experience more tolerable. Like, the games are still awful. I like the collection itself, but the games are awful, but the rewind feature makes it Like, doable. Like, the Atari Jaguar game in this collection is absolutely atrocious. And if it didn't have the rewind feature, I wouldn't even bother making it past the first level. It is that bad. So seeing it in this game, it's nice. I like it. Again, it kind of breaks the entire experience, but it's cool. I think there is a lot to love about Rayman the 30th Anniversary Edition. It's a really cool little package. But I feel they also just missed the mark when it comes to so many aspects. The first one, which is the part that gets mostly criticized, like if you go to the store page, this game is currently sitting at a 59% positive rating, which isn't great. And most of the negative reviews are criticizing that this edition doesn't have the original soundtrack. But you know, I think that is a very valid thing to criticize. Like, I don't think the new music that is added is bad in any way, shape, or form, but imagine if the Plants vs. Zombies collection didn't have this one. Imagine if this collection didn't have the original music and you had some other team or artist like remake it. The music of the original PVZ is such a core part of it, and this also goes for Rayman. That is not how you spell Rayman. This also goes for Rayman. It is such a core part of the experience, and to see Ubisoft just replace it is such a shame. There probably is some licensing issue. I think the original composer of this game passed away, sadly, so I'm sure it is like a little finicky, a little hard to get a hold of the rights, but I do think it's worth it trying to do that because it's such an important part of it. Another thing they just completely fumbled is to force a Ubisoft launcher. Game companies need to goddamn stop this, at least with the Plants vs. Zombies re-release, remaster, whatever you want to call it. At least that game had the courtesy not to force some stupid third-party launcher onto you. This game does. Like, if I'm gonna play right here, a little menu is gonna pop up telling you like what's the Ubisoft launcher will provide to enhance the Rayman experience. So watch this. Boot it up. This little menu will pop up, and there are 4 things the Ubisoft Connect launcher says like it will provide to make the experience better. Rewards. I'm not gonna use the Ubisoft launcher, so these rewards mean nothing to me. Cross progression. This actually just detracted from me because I originally played this game on my Steam Deck in Malaysia, but when I got back on my PC in Australia, it just deleted my saves. Like, I booted up the game and all my save data was gone. Thankfully, I managed to get all the achievements before that, but man, like, what? It just deleted it. Like, that's completely unacceptable. Crossplay, not important. It is a single player game, so there is no crossplay of any kind. And safety. This is probably the most absurd one. What do you mean safety? How is Ubisoft going to make my experience more safe by forcing a third-party launcher onto me? And fun fact, Ubisoft got like hacked multiple times with a bunch of personal information. What do you mean safety? This actually makes it less safe. If they remove this stupid goddamn launcher onto you, the game would just be instantly improved. I would honestly just bump it up 0.5 stars out of 5, just if they just deleted it. Just in general, if they just add the original soundtrack to this, I would say that this is the definitive edition of Rayman. But for now, like again, the new music isn't bad, but it's just such a missed opportunity that they didn't include it. This is a very, very cool package though. It's 5 full versions of the original Rayman for 20 bucks. I wish PVZ Replanted did that, but you know, instead we get AI generated bullcrap. With a few tweaks, this edition would genuinely be really, really great. But for now, I just think it's good. Like, all they have to do is bring back the original soundtrack, fix a few bugs, just like a few small minor bugs that are mostly emulator related, and remove the Ubisoft launcher, which I know they're not gonna do, but the only thing it does is retract from the experience. Remove it! It does nothing! It's just annoying. But besides those things, this is a really, really cool collection. I'm really hoping this can be like a jumping off point for Rayman, so we can see the character shine in the limelight again. Like, apparently they are working on a new game. There are rumors that they are remaking Legends. Please don't let that be the case. That game does not need a remaster or remake. It's perfect the way it already is. A new full-on 3D Rayman game would be cool, or just, you know, a Rayman 2 and Rayman 3 collection in the same vein as this one would also be really neat, because I also know that Rayman 2 has a lot of different ports that are slightly different, so having that all available on Steam in a nice little collection would be awesome, and it will also give me the opportunity to properly play Rayman 2. I do not want to buy it on GOG or buy some physical copy or on the PlayStation, because it's just a hassle and I just can't be bothered. Besides that, I would also still like to see achievements be added to Rayman Origins, and just add a goddamn banner to these games, man. If Ubisoft is watching this video, ignore every criticism I gave, okay? Just give these 2 games a banner. This looks so ugly. I know technically you can put in a custom one, but like, what are we doing? This takes like 5 minutes. Why isn't it here? I'm really hoping Rayman can shine again, though. I know Ubisoft is kinda in the shitter right now. I think their stock is worth less than $1 at the moment, and their whole company seems to be in a complete dire state. It is really, really sad. But one can hope, man. At least this definitive edition is a lot better than that awful PVZ comeback, man. This is genuinely made with a lot of care, a lot of passion, and it's really cool to see. I decided to make a backlogged account because I thought it would be cute to like properly rank the games I've played on this second channel. And look, I got my favorite game of all time here, Hello Neighbor, masterpiece. So far though, I've only like ranked 1 game. Probably gonna do add some games on this in my free time, games I've played in the past. But I'd give Rayman like a 3-star with a like. If they introduce some bug fixes, bring back the original soundtrack, I honestly can see myself bumping it up to a 3.5-star. And if they remove the launcher and introduce Steam Cloud Saves, which I know they're not gonna do, I can even see myself bumping it up to a 4. This is a cool collection. It's really neat, but it's just dumbed down by some really weird decisions. But I recommend checking it out if you've always been interested in playing Rayman, or you've already played it and you're a big fan of it. I do want to see this character glow again. It's a cool character. I really like it. But yeah, that's it. Let me know what you think of this type of video where I just kind of ramble and review a game very sloppily. But yeah, that's it. Okay, bye. Look, I can't wave. Bye-bye. Bye.